And there's Escobar. Oh, against the bar and in. And Escobar equalises after 66 minutes for Colombia. Just look at their supporters.
When asked by a fellow Colombian why he loved the sport he played so much, a man known as the Gentleman of Football for his playing style and calm demeanour replied, "This sport illustrates the close relationship between life and the game. In football, unlike bullfighting, there is no death. In football, no one dies. No one gets killed. It's more about the fun of it, about enjoying." That man was Andrés Escobar. His death was tragic, his life enviable and impressive. Football can be a cruel game, but life sometimes finds a way to be far crueler. As Andrés himself eloquently put after the biggest sporting heartbreak of his career, "It's been a most amazing and rare experience. We'll see each other soon, because life does not end here. It should not have." This is a Sporting Almanac podcast.
The World Cup wagon keeps on a-rolling, Jack.
Did you know Lionel Messi is now the top scorer in the World Cup of all time, Ben?
I did.
If you didn't know, just check the front page of any news site on the planet, because apparently it's headline news.
Yeah. It's international news.
Not just an inevitability.
Yeah. I have seen, and it is nice, and he's a fitting custodian for a short while.
Temporary custodian, yeah.
Yeah. You and I were just talking before about who is most likely to take over him. And he's French, and he looks like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Could be anyone. Yeah, I mean, Mbappe could end up getting 30 goals in the World Cup over the course of his career. If he keeps himself as fit as Ronaldo and Messi have, he could easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
Crazy.
He could have 4 more World Cups than him. It's incredible.
And he loves a goal at a World Cup.
Yeah.
Especially if France keep going deep, which they look destined to do at the moment.
Yes, indeed.
But we're going to talk about some more peculiar World Cup stories. When things don't quite go right for people, perhaps.
Yeah.
Is that an understatement?
Sad one. Well, yeah, I mean, this is about as wrong as football can go for someone, if we're honest, Ben.
Yeah, it is. I don't know what it is. Can I get this off my chest? We're going to talk about Andrés Escobar. That's not giving anything away. You're gonna take the lead, but I don't like the fact that this is sometimes told because of the way in which legend, folklore, and things takes a hold, as if it was like a crime of passion because of football. Like this is just thuggery.
Oh yeah, it's absolute thuggery, and I don't really like. I've obviously done some research on this, and I've looked at a lot of different sources, and there's sort of 2 approaches to this, and I really want to make sure we stay on the right side of this, because people treating this like a true crime sort of story of the macabre fascination kind of thing. I don't like it. It doesn't sit right, because it's not as a true crime story. It's not that interesting. I think the most interesting thing about this by far is Andrés Escobar.
Yeah,
and his life and his career and the situation in Colombia at the time and various political things around that is much more interesting than the actual murder itself. And he didn't get justice.
No.
And he's never going to get justice. No. Real justice anyway. And it's just, as a true crime story, it's just gross and grim. But as a story of someone, it is something.
That's it. It's a story of a person as opposed to, you put it nicely, a true crime story. And the reason I think you were touching on it, and the thing that I completely agree with you about is that it is sometimes portrayed as if it's like passionate football fans who went too far, and it's not that. It's just cartel members.
Yeah. Yeah, it was bad timing for him.
Yeah.
It was really bad timing, because the most famous context for Medellin in 1994 was it was a year after Pablo Escobar. No relation to Andrés. Pablo Escobar was killed in 1993, and Medellin had become the Wild West after that. As bad as Pablo Escobar was, he was at least keeping everyone in check, and he loved football, and he loved, I don't know specifically if he loved Andrés Escobar, but Andrés Escobar was one of the best players at the club he loved, Atletico Nacional.
Nacional, yeah.
And he loved the national team. So chances are, if it was a year earlier or if Pablo Escobar lived longer, this probably would never have happened.
I think that's not an unreasonable theory. Because, yeah, it's just a huge power struggle, vacuum, if you like, after Pablo Escobar's death. And people were just behaving, well, in a way that leads to someone getting shot in a car park for no reason.
Yeah, so, indeed.
Well, I mean, they're like we're talking around it, really. Might as well talk about Andreas himself before we get to what happened to him and his demise. His demise is pretty self-apparent now, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he had a great career. He had a lot of potential. There was talk of him making a big move to Europe, joining AC Milan, no less, Fabio Capello. But he's from Medellin, which is obviously most famous for Pablo Escobar, drug cartels.
Like a syndicate, wasn't it? Like a cartel, yeah.
Yeah, and that was obviously happening in his lifetime as well. But he was from a middle-class family. He had a reasonable upbringing. He became a very calm, very elegant centre-back, very sort of modern centre-back. He was a classy dude, and his nickname was the Gentleman of Football.
Yeah, I saw that.
El Caballero del Fútbol.
He was also...
it was a great nickname.
For a South American centre-back, correct me if I'm wrong here, Jack, but he also had a reputation of playing quite fair, being quite clean, calm, like wasn't a wind-up merchant like some of the protagonists you see these days, like Christian Romero, for instance, different nationality, but...
Just calling out a Spurs player there.
Oh, yeah, got to throw him under the bus for every opportunity. But you can see why he got his nickname, given the position he played, the region of the world in which he played football, and their inclination, if we like, to embrace the dark arts.
Yes, a tendency towards that.
Yes.
It's not universal, obviously. You got the reputation of a Brazilian centre-back, which is quite the opposite. A want-to-be attacking midfielder, but yeah, certainly got that reputation. But that wasn't him.
No.
His dad, a man named Dario Escobar, he was a really good bloke, creating opportunities using football for young people as an alternative to street life, which is, it's universal. It's something that happens all over the world, and it works. Like, a lot of the times kids get into gang situations is they follow their friends, and they're doing it because they're bored and because there's no other opportunities. If you create opportunities to have fun, at the very least, it might not be, anything more than the sticking plaster, really, but it will help a little bit, and at least it'll make their lives better. So
alleviate boredom as well, things like that.
Yeah, Andreas' brother as well became a footballer and a coach as well, so it was a football-mad family. And he joined Atletico Nacional's youth team in 1985, made his senior debut 1986, and he was an international by 1988, so it all came pretty quickly to
meteoric,
him. Yeah.
You might call it.
The one thing you would, yeah. The one thing you would not describe him as is much of a goal scorer. Do you know how many goals he scored in his entire career?
I don't actually. I didn't look this up, but it can't be many.
It's not even just the number, it's who he scored his goal against, which is notable. He scored one goal in his entire career, and that was to equalise a Gary Lineker opening goal in an England versus Colombia match in 1988, an international friendly. Oh no, it wasn't a friendly, it was in the Rue Cup, which was a sort of temporary competition in the late 80s.
Oh, yeah, amazing.
So there you go.
That's not the one where the keeper does the scorpion kick, is it, after the fact? That comes later in the early 90s, doesn't it?
That was about 1995, that was. Yeah. That was Jamie Redknapp miss-hit cross, yeah. I imagine Higuita was in goal then, though. Another legend. You could do a whole episode on him. He's an interesting bloke.
With the perm. Yeah, for sure. No, sorry, I'm taking us down tangents because, Higuita came to mind. But
nothing wrong with that.
One goal. That's, it's not Joe Gomez, but it's also not good.
I literally have in my notes, he was not much of a goal scorer, near Joe Gomez levels of goal scoring, but not quite.
We're on the same wavelength then.
Oh, the day Joe Gomez scores, mate, honestly. Doesn't matter who he's playing for. I'm going to go crazy.
Well, what was I going to say? I like getting back to Mr. Escobar and his career. You just given us a little snapshot into like how quickly he got into like international football and stuff, but it wasn't long after that where he won some major South American titles, was it?
No, yeah, 1989. So it came to him very quickly, football.
Yeah.
Almost came to him easily. I'm sure it wasn't easy, but...
Copa de Libertadores.
Yeah.
Champions League of South America, probably worth saying, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, the Champions League of South America and the Copa Interamericana as well.
Yeah, what is that?
I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, is a North American version of the Champions League winner versus the Copa Libertadores winner.
Oh, nice. A bit like the Super Cup, but obviously for Champions League winners as opposed
the
to
Americas.
Europa and yeah.
Yeah, because they played in the Intercontinental Cup final as well, which is the predecessor of the, I suppose it'd be the Club World Cup now, but Copa Libertadores played the European Cup winner and they played Milan in that and lost.
Oh, no. Is that what maybe got Fabio Capello's attention, perhaps?
Probably not, because I don't think he was managing them. I think it was Arrigo Sacchi back in 1989, but you know.
Okay. Yeah, getting my dates.
He was certainly...
My timelines muddled.
It did no harm to his reputation,
and
of course the team's reputation, but yeah, just to show he was a very, very good player in the best team in South America at this point. So we're not talking about just a tragedy that happened to happen to a player. It happened to a player who was both brilliant, classy, and a gentleman all at once.
Yeah.
And from what we can tell, a nice guy as well.
And also like a real servant of Colombia. Like he played in the 1989 Copa America. They qualified for the 1990 World Cup after an absence of 28 years, which I didn't realise. That's a long drought for Colombia. First tournament since 62, apparently, if I've got that right.
Yeah, part of the reason why 1994 was such a, I guess, annus horribilis for Colombia in general is because they were so good. They were so damn favoured for that World Cup. It was obviously in the Americas, in conditions that suited them. They got a good draw as well out of it. They got drawn with the hosts, USA, which, as we've said before, gives you a slightly easier draw because you miss out on a quote-unquote true top seed, a Brazil or an Italy at that point, and Argentina. And they beat an Argentina 5-0 during qualification for the 94 World Cup.
That's a pumping.
Yeah, but he'd already played for them, of course, in 1990 as well, and he had played in Europe very briefly.
Yeah, he did.
He had a year in
Young Boys.
In Switzerland, yeah. Yeah, which is random.
That's very random.
Yeah, he went back to Nacional later the year, so I don't know if it was homesickness or what, but nevertheless, 1990 World Cup, they got to the round of 16.
They got knocked out by Cameroon, didn't they?
Yeah, it was a young team at the time. I imagine it was a disappointment, but it was nowhere near as favoured a team as it was in 1994. Because they were proper good by then. There's some very, very good players. Carlos Valderrama, Freddie Rincon, Faustino Asprilla.
Yeah. Valderrama and Asprilla are both unbelievable.
Yeah.
I remember Valderrama, he was also a perm man. Must have been the fashion in Colombia at the time.
Well, I think it was just the fashion in the 90s, generally, no matter where you go in the world.
Yeah, Valderrama was still in the team in 98 when we played them, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Beckham scored the free kick.
Legend of the game.
But yeah, he played every game, I think, in 1990, our boy Escobar. And that's what I mean about him being a servant.
Yeah.
A Copa America and then every game in the World Cup until you get knocked out.
Yeah, he was this generational Colombia side, a side that wasn't really matched until 2014.
Well, yeah, that team was good as well, to be fair. We got to 1990. We keep talking about 94 because obviously 94 is an important year, but he plays in the Copa America again in 1991 for Colombia, wins a Premier A title in 1991, finishes runner-up in 90 as well and 92, so he's still domestic success going on. This guy's a serious baller, basically. We're talking about someone who's probably, if you were comparing him to an Englishman, you wouldn't say he was sort of necessarily in a team of a Chelsea and a John Terry, but maybe with the sort of reputation of one.
Other than, he
was being
out for being quite a nice bloke.
He's a nice bloke and Terry's a terrible bloke, yeah. And I mean, in footballing, status at home. It's like your first choice national centre back. Yeah, I'm not saying he's as good as Terry necessarily in the objective sense, but he
also probably never shagged a teammate's wife, so there is that.
Yeah, swings and roundabouts, I guess. Yeah, he probably also wasn't racist to someone in the middle of a game on TV, and then got away with
Terrible bloke, really. At least he didn't cover his mouth, though.
Yeah, that's true. But no, anyway, I've gone off on a tangent there, trying to give us some sort of frame of reference to our cultural experiences and players, but I've probably picked a bad example. I was merely trying to illustrate his standing in his domestic league.
Well, I think you did that well.
It was high.
Yes, and his international reputation obviously was growing as well. AC Milan were eyeing him up. There was a chance he was going to sign for them after the World Cup. There were rumours going around, and that was as a long-term replacement for Franco Baresi, no less, potentially. So
big shoes.
That's levels.
Yeah.
Very big shoes. And who knows what he may have been there or thereabouts with the squad he may have taken over. He may have developed well under Capello, very good coach. So, yeah, who knows?
Who knows?
Sadly, we'll never know.
No, because the 1994 World Cup came along.
Yeah.
And he was picked.
And like I said, they got a favourable draw. Switzerland, Romania, USA. I say favourable. Romania were a good team. That was another generational team. This is
Yes, Hadji and co.
Romania's golden generation. Yeah, Georgi Hadji, particularly extremely good player. Remember watching a lot of him in my youth. Loved him.
Yeah, well, they got pumped by Romania, didn't they, in their opening game?
They lost 3-1.
3-1.
It was probably more even than that scoreline suggests, but they showed some good attacking football, but they also seemed very nervous to various observers. Like they were playing quite tentatively, like they weren't their usual comfortable selves, not displaying the same sort of vigour they displayed against Argentina, particularly obviously when they beat them 5-0. And there is a reason for that. There is a rumoured reason for that, and that is because obviously Colombian football at the time existed inside a very violent national context. Drug money had entered the domestic game massively, like cartel figures, betting syndicates were having huge influences on like team selections, and that was starting to permeate the international game as well. Obviously Medellin itself was unstable, as I said, and a lot of the players were receiving death threats, and the manager as well, Francesco Maturana, was receiving death threats as well, and that is not just a rumour, that is something he has spoken about. So
that's mad.
Huge amounts of money were being bet on the games, and basically death threats. It was basically, we have bet on Colombia to win, you better win, otherwise don't come home.
Yeah.
Which weirdly, it does not lead to better performances, I wouldn't imagine.
I would have thought the sports psychologist would be suggesting that you threaten and intimidate your national squads if it was a successful strategy for winning World Cups. It transpires that probably does the exact opposite more often than not, so it is not recommended.
No.
But these people aren't logical people. They are thugs.
As you correctly said at the beginning, further proof of that.
So what happens? Under the cloud of this threat, and having been beaten already by Romania, who do they play in the second round?
Well, they play the host nation in front of a very, very boisterous home crowd, as you can imagine, or as anyone who's watched this tournament so far this year can see with their own eyes. The Americans love hosting a tournament, and this was no different. 22nd of June 1994, and it was a tentative start. It was 0-0, 35 minutes in, when the unfortunate moment happened. John Harkes got a cross in. Andrés Escobar stretched out a leg to try and cut it out and inadvertently diverted the ball into his own goal. A mistake any defender could make.
Yeah. An OG. Classic OG.
Yeah.
Corridor of uncertainty stuff.
Yeah. They pushed forward Colombia, trying to get an equaliser. Obviously, their tournament pretty much hanging in the balance, although similar situations this year, they could come third in the group and still come through. But in pressing forward, they left a lot of space behind, and Ernie Stewart took advantage of that tap in to double the Americans' lead. And Colombia did score, but very, very late on. It was only a consolation 2-1 win for the USA. And now, if the Romania game, we can justify that by saying that was a very good Romania team, this was humiliation.
Yeah,
this is a team they should be beating 10 times out of 10.
Not a good American side, and it left them in a very precarious position.
Yes.
I think, again, Jack, correct my statistics and facts if they are wrong, but I believe Colombia needed to beat Switzerland in their final game, and they also needed the United States to beat Romania to have a chance of getting through, and then they still needed a goal swing.
Yeah, so it was they were all but out, but not quite out. Romania were obviously heavy favourites against the USA, and Colombia were playing Switzerland, who they would be expected to win, and they did beat 2-0, but Romania, as you would imagine, also saw off the United States. Colombia finished bottom of the group, and they were going home.
Yeah, and I think this is unfair context, but had they drawn with the United States, so had it been 1-1, had the 90th minute goal been an equaliser as opposed to a consolation, they would have switched places with the States on goal difference and gone through.
Gone through as the one of the best third place teams,
Yeah.
I believe.
But they would have got Brazil in the next round, and Brazil won it. So whoever they would have gone out, probably.
Probably, but it wouldn't have been a humiliation.
No.
Whether or not that would have made any difference, because we don't really know why what happened next happened.
No.
As I say, true crime stories, lots of people speculate, and there are a lot of obvious things to speculate against. We don't really know why it happened. So
what did happen?
Who knows if it would have made the outcome any different. Well, Escobar, so he was meant to go on holiday with his family. He was meant to go to Las Vegas with his family, but he decided not to. He decided not to hide. He chose to return to Colombia rather than staying in the USA. He reportedly said he wanted to show his face And he also wrote a newspaper column accepting responsibility but urging perspective and hope, ending with that famous sentiment that life does not end here, as you heard in the intro.
Yeah, well, that is extremely unfortunate.
Yeah, because on the night of the 1st of July 1994, he went out with friends in Medellin.
That's only 5 days after they were eliminated, I think.
Yeah, so he certainly didn't hide. No, he certainly didn't hide. Early hours of 2nd of July, outside the El Indio nightclub, he was confronted in the car park. During the confrontation, Escobar was shot 6 times. There is conjecture about this. Is that the right word? Conjecture? No?
I think it is.
Contention? Anyway, never mind. That apparently, with every pull of the trigger, every shot that was fired, the killer shouted the word goal with every shot.
Yeah.
It's one of those little nuggets of information that sort of makes for good, I guess, radio in this case. I don't know if it's actually definitively proven that was the case, but witnesses did report that was the case. What definitely did happen, though, is Escobar was taken to hospital and he died shortly afterwards, aged just 27 years old.
Ridiculous, basically.
And yeah, you can speculate all day as to why what happened, but there's a few theories, and the long and short of it is it may well have been betting related as opposed to simply, national shame related or angry, passionate football fan related.
Well, this is it, isn't it? Because apparently a guy called Humberto Castro Munoz, who was a drug cartel bodyguard, he was arrested and confessed to killing him. And he had worked as a driver for a guy called Santiago Galon, who had allegedly lost quite heavily having bet on Colombia. And Galon was a leader of the Galon gang and part of the Medellin cartel run by Pablo Escobar until his death in 1995. Not a particularly nice guy. If those links are to be believed, it's
painting a different picture.
That's a far more plausible it's far more plausible explanation than people just upset that he scored an own goal.
Yeah, so the Galon brothers, as they were investigated. They were never convicted of the murder. As you say, Humberto Castro Munoz, he confessed. He got a 43-year sentence for the crime. He only served 11 years of it.
His 3 accomplices were acquitted as well, weren't they? And isn't there suggestion that there was like a good old-fashioned stitch-up, basically a bit of bribery here, a bit of bribery there, a bit of corruption here, a bit of corruption there?
Andrés' family to this day believe the Justice Department were influenced by the drug cartels and cite the light sentence or the eventual light sentence as proof of conspiracy. Basically, that Munoz was the fall guy, probably well rewarded for his 11 years in prison, out with plenty of time to live the rest of his life, something that Andrés didn't get the chance to do. And his companions he was the only person to be charged. His companions were released. His bosses never so much as saw questions asked of them. So read into that what you will.
Yeah, tragedy though, mate. And didn't Alan Hansen get himself in hot water a few days later? Round of 16 game between Argentina and Romania. I think there was a mistake by an Argentinian defender, and I might be misquoting him, but I think he said the Argentine defender wants shooting for a mistake like that. And people were like, Alan. You know what happened yesterday?
Yeah, not the gaff he's remembered for, but maybe it should be. Anyway.
Well, I mean, to be fair to him, it was just been poor phrasing. I'm sure he wouldn't have even been thinking necessarily of it, but nonetheless.
It's something that a week earlier wouldn't have even crossed anyone's mind to be an inappropriate thing to say.
Yeah.
Even though, unfortunately, that kind of thing does happen.
Clumsy.
As proven here. But
clumsy.
Yeah. So as we say, the common explanation, Escobar was killed because gamblers or criminals lost money on Colombia's World Cup failure. Or it might have been an argument with a violent man, perhaps in the exclusive club he was at. Or it might have been an angry football fan. The motive isn't known, and this is what I say, there's sort of no point speculating or worrying or diving into this, because ultimately justice wasn't done, and it sucks, and you have to feel for his family and everyone the 120,000 people who turned out to his funeral, because that's how beloved he was in Medellin. It's incredible.
Yeah, it is incredible. Didn't he get, they now call him the immortal number 2.
People in Medellin have his photo on their walls.
Fitting tribute.
Like, he's a hero of the city.
Yeah.
And it's such a famously working class area. It's why Escobar was able to get and gain and retain so much power, because he understood the people. He was a political figure. He's a politician, essentially, in that respect. He was a man of the people, and they loved Andrés Escobar as well as Pablo.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess the legacy is a good one, is a nice one. Not and not Pablo, Andrés's, but
for sure.
But fortunately, it's a relatively unique story, which is why we told it. People are not routinely being shot for scoring own goals or getting sent off or what have you. I mean, I guess the closest comparable exercise you could make in Britain is probably the efficacies of Beckham burning after he got sent off in 98.
Yeah.
And when you look back at that, that was pretty close to the mark, like, all things considered. Like, but at least we weren't shooting people.
Well, yeah, but it would have looked... I'm sure there was plenty of people who, given the opportunity and given the right environment, maybe would have had a go, perhaps.
Yeah, there's a lot of dumb people out there.
Who knows?
And I guess the moral of this story is, it's just... I hate the phrase. I hate it when I'm watching the game, but it is just a game.
It's not a matter of life and death, no matter what Bill Shankly says. Not in this context.
Yeah, it's not a literal matter of life and death. Like,
indeed.
There's a lot that can be said for the romance of the game and its significance and importance culturally, but you don't need to go around shooting people.
Certainly don't.
As me and you always say, just wait till next year. Get another go.
There's always next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need only ask the English. I mean, we've been waiting to win one of these things forever. And there's plenty of countries that have never won it. Just literally, just wait 4 years. You get another go. Shall we, unless you want to say anything else about this particular story?
No, I think that covers it all. I'm glad we focused more on the man than we did the tragedy.
Yeah. Well, it's a good story. People always hear about it. And I just, like, the reason we spoke about it is we just wanted to put a little bit more detail around the circumstances and tell people a little bit more about Escobar himself, because everyone's heard of the story of the guy from Colombia getting shot because he scored an own goal, but how much do people really know about it? So hopefully it was at least partially educational, even if a little somber, and now we can talk about Fat Ronaldo on the next episode to raise everyone's spirits.
I don't like him being called Fat Ronaldo because to me, there's stuff he could do that Cristiano could never.
Exactly.
Could never.
And we're going to talk about him because he's a World Cup legend and we need to talk about something positive on this series.
Absolutely. Yeah, we kind of do. We're struggling a bit in that department. I think Graham Poll's refereeing is about the funniest thing we've had so far, so let's try and beat that.
Nice. All right then. Well, on to the next one. Ronaldo Nazario, I think is how you pronounce it.
Yeah. Just Ronaldo, man. He'll always just be Ronaldo.
Right. See you on that one.
To men of a certain age. I'll see you on that one. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us for this episode. Got a few more planned for our World Cup series, so remember to tune back in and tell your friends about us. Both would be very much appreciated. Our theme tune is Oh Yeah by Harmony Productions. You can find us on Instagram and Blue Sky at The Sporting Almanac. Next up, we'll be talking about the one and only Ronaldo. No disparaging nicknames allowed. Until then, whether your early tournament optimism is holding firm or you just want it to be over already, remember, there's always next time. Goodbye.